Hey guys, in today's video, I got to share with some incredible leaders, paid and unpaid in the church space, to help them to recruit volunteers in their church space. Some of them are creative directors, some of them lead the greeter team, the parking lot team, some of them that were the executive pastors. And I shared some brilliant insights from the years of experience I've had in ministry, but also some books that I've read that I think is super applicable to anyone. Even if you're looking to build a healthy team, to recruit amazing leaders, maybe you're a 501(c) nonprofit somewhere else outside of the church space and you're looking for volunteers, I hope that this short video will help you learn a few tactics on how to recruit and build leaders. Reasons why your church isn't growing in volunteers. I've been in the church space leading from a high capacity in the past 7 years, and there's some core principles and things that I feel like I've seen over the years of teams who are flourishing and teams who, quite honestly, are just being horrible. They're not growing. Their recruitment is few and far between, and the people who do serve on a Sunday look like they hate their life. So I want to go through 3 main themes today of why you aren't growing, how to grow, and why you should have volunteers. So why you aren't growing, how to grow, and then why you should have volunteers. Let's go into it. And if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. I'd love to get to them right after this. But why are you not growing? I think that's a great question. And to some people, maybe you don't even know if you aren't growing. Well, what a great place to start to look at. Maybe your year over year, your month over month, your season over season, however you want to break it down, of looking at the volunteer numbers, not just from a micro standpoint of a specific team that you think is more important than the other one, but all of your teams, all the people who are serving on a Sunday, maybe they're in a Thursday prayer group, whatever it is. But the reality is, one of the key principles in which why you aren't growing is most people that I've talked to, they have a poverty mindset. Poverty mindset, write that down. And here's why, and here's what I mean by this. A poverty mindset only thinks in a negative, only thinks in negatives, only thinks in need. And the reality is, if I hear the word need out of any team leader, that's scary to me because they're looking to the future with no practical alignment on how to do so. For instance, I'm a digital content guy on a Sunday morning, and I say, man, I just need more volunteers. I need 5 more people to join my team. I just haven't been able to attend a service. I just need it. I need it. Or you're the lead pastor. Man, we just need more volunteers to add that service. Here's the reason why I think that word should be canceled from your team. And if you hear somebody say that, it needs to be an instant correction. You don't need anything. The reality is, God has provided you with people. Maybe you have 2 volunteers. The fact that you're saying we need more is a sign that you're not stewarding and discipling them well enough to recruit and build other people as well. It's not a funnel. We're not thinking of a sales funnel in the church space. We are thinking about discipling and building people. So the word need is a sign that you are not stewarding the people well enough right now, and you have a lack mindset or a poverty spirit. A poverty spirit is the same spirit that says, man, if I just had more finances, then I would be happy. Man, if I just, you name it, that's the same spirit, it's the same mindset. You have everything you need today. You have the exact finances you need to build a business. If you don't, the reason why is because there's a stewardship problem months ago or a choices problem. It's not the reality of today. It's the past year of you not stewarding your team well then. So reflect and build and think about that. But it's a poverty mindset. Number 2, your volunteers had a poor onboarding experience. How many times have people onboarded to your team or maybe onboarded into your leadership, and it takes 6 months for them to actually serve on a Sunday? Your onboarding experience should be the best on the planet. Here's why. People are not getting paid to do this. They are partnering with you and Christ to reach the city that they love and that they said yes to when they gave their life to Jesus. They said, yes, I'm giving my life to you, aka I'm giving my life to serve and reach the people I love in my community, my neighborhood. So your onboarding experience should be second to none. It shouldn't just be 2 videos from the lead pastor and they're clueless on what their expectations are, who their leader is. Here's what I would recommend to you anyways. maybe they went through your growth track or your next steps classes and they're all in, they love the vision, but they're saying, hey, I want to join the digital content team. How do I do so? The best way or the best things that I've seen always is attached to a leader. Not you, by the way, and that's another point coming here soon, but not the lead pastor. You can't lead everybody. If you lead everybody, good luck. You're going to burn out and everyone is going to be mad and putting 1-star Google reviews on your page because you're not leading them well, because you can't lead everybody. That's not the reality. Jesus had 12 disciples, like we said earlier. You can't have 200. It's just not a reality. You need to disciple 12, who disciple 12, who disciple 12. Multiplication versus addition. So your volunteer onboarding experience, what does that look like? Do you have an HR manager? Maybe your executive pastor can work through this with you to say, hey, what is the best onboarding experience? And I would recommend looking at companies, looking at Chick-fil-A, looking at companies that love and value their employees so much so that they're willing to give them training, to send them to a conference, to steward and sow into them, because that's all we're doing as leaders in the church. We're sowing into the volunteers we have to say, hey, I see so much in you. There's a prophetic vision that you should have of every single person on your team of saying that, man, this is where they are in 5 years. And that only happens in prayer. It does not happen in a leadership course. So learn to create the best onboarding experience you possibly can. And then the last one for this key point, your ego is too big to let others be the solution. Yikes. I know, I'm sorry. I love you. I think you're great, but you have a big ego. Your ego says, man, I want to be the solution. I want to be the face of this. And what you're doing is you're building a brand. You're not building a church. God's church cannot have two kings. Jesus is king. You are not. You are partnering with him. So you're partnering with the king. What a great opportunity and what a great honor it is to partner with our king, but you're not the king. Your ego is too big. So people don't want to step on your toes and are scared to give insight. Maybe they're saying, man, I actually think I have a better idea how we should shoot content, or maybe the set list on a Sunday morning. Maybe there's a better way for us to put the transitions in here, or the MC moment. Maybe they don't feel like they can even give that information to you because they're so scared that you're going to rip their head off and frustrate them and make them angry. And then what's going to happen is people leave, and in your mind as the pastor, you go, man, these people just don't get it. They don't get it. They haven't caught the vision. They're just offended. They're going to go find a different church. No, they weren't offended. You just didn't lead them well. See, your church is a lone sum of what God wants to do through you. You're the lead pastor. He chose you to lead his people, lead his sheep. You are the shepherd, aka your ego has got to stay at the door. Get over yourself. If somebody's better and has better insight, what a great opportunity, because the best leaders lead people who are better than them. That's the reality. I'm 24. I've had people on my team who are 50 and been saved for 35 years. Obviously, that's not the experience I have, but God has given me an opportunity to put my ego at the door and serve through questions and opportunity and saying, hey man, I see so much in you. What was that insight you shared in that meeting again? Let's try it for 6 weeks, and then let's have a meeting follow-up to talk through what it'll look like on a practical standpoint of what if we put this onto it. So leave your ego at the door. That's number one, why you aren't growing. Number two, how to grow. I want to help you with this. I think so many people have so much opportunity in their church. Maybe there's only 10% of people serving on a Sunday, and they have 900 people attending on a Sunday who are saved, love Jesus, but have yet to get on a team. So here's the clear question. What is your vision, and how can others be a part? What is your vision? Not love God, love people. Great standpoint, great scripture backing, obviously. But what is the vision God gave you to build in 5 years, in 10 years? Because I know this, people will get attached to vision. If there's one thing that people want to be a part of, want to engraft themselves in, is vision. If you don't have vision, we know that people will perish. The people that God gave you will literally perish, will find somewhere else to partner with because they care so much about what God is doing that you are, as the leader, need to spend time with Jesus in your quiet time thinking about what is the future of this church and how can others be a part. When you can answer the how, because we already talked through the why, if you can answer the why and the how, then people get attached to it. Number two, what does it look like for someone to join a team? We just talked about onboarding experience, and that's the reason why, but this is how to grow. You need to have the best onboarding experience. See the ambulances? You hear that? That's funny. No, what does it look like for someone to join a team? What does it look like? We need to have the best onboarding experience. Maybe it's they're going to have an immersive experience through VR. I don't know. Whatever it is, whatever you love. And again, this is all you. This is not I'm not giving you specifics because I don't know you. I don't know your church. I don't know your city. I don't know what that looks like. But what does it look like for someone to join a team? We need to make sure the onboarding experience is incredible. What I would do, what I would recommend to you in a very macro standpoint, have an online form and a form right from your social media and maybe a QR code on a card or whatever on the back of their seats, and literally signing up for a forum to get more information, to get to a class or to get to a video of what it would look like to serve on a team. Maybe the videos, it goes right to a Vimeo. You have 4 videos. One is like the overall vision of what you see God doing in the next couple of years, what maybe a testimony from someone else who's led and has exploded, and maybe they started a business from it, whatever, and some expectations and maybe what it looks like for them to serve that next Sunday. So last thing, are they going to have a leader who disciples them that isn't you? And I talk about this again. They need to have a leader. They need to have an appointed person who's going to look after them on a weekly basis, maybe gives them a call. And that's a whole nother conversation. We don't have time today, but you need to have consistent communication that isn't you. You don't need to do all the phone calls, the follow-ups, the first-time guests. You need to have people. The reality is this whole thing, I'm saying the same thing, just in different words. There's people in your church who love to do specific things. You just have not given them the opportunity to do so because you're scared that it won't be as excellent as you are doing it. But the reality is, what nobody's telling you is you're not doing it well because you're doing 50 things okay versus doing the 3 things God actually called you to do. Maybe that's preaching, maybe that's pastoral care from the executive team, maybe that's vision, whatever it is. But there's so many other things. You're editing photos, you're doing the website, you're editing your sermon clips, you're standing out in the parking lot after service, whatever it is. You're doing way too much and you're tired and your wife isn't getting any time, or your kids aren't getting any time from you because you're running yourself ragged because you're so scared of letting people take ownership of something because there'll be a lack of excellence. So do you want excellence or do you want empowerment and longevity? I think you can do all of the above, but the reality is in times there's going to be times where you're going to have to lower your excellent level or barrier saying, man, I think our photos don't need to be edited that much, that intensely. Can you just go to coffee with 3 of your volunteers, whatever it is? The reality is you need to let people lead. Leaders don't need permission to lead. We know this, but you giving them that initial permission, that initial insight of saying, man, I see so much in you. You should take over the digital content team. And every month we'll have a check-in, but I want you to pastor and lead the people that God has put in place. Because I guarantee you there's people, and I keep going to digital content. I don't know why. There's so many other teams. We all know this, but apply it to whatever team you're leading. Yeah, the reality is you can't lead everybody. You can't lead everybody. You can't need everybody. The reality is God has given you a church. He's given you a team. Maybe he's given you 3 people who he loves so much. Obviously, that's the whole gospel. We get it. But the reality is he's looking for you to steward them, to disciple them, and to help them see the vision you have for that team, for that church, for that organization. So last statement here for how to grow. Stop announcing it on Sundays. Holy crap. I've been to so many church services where they just stand on stage and say, hey, we need more volunteers in the kids space. We need more parking attendants, whatever it is. Stop doing that because you're giving 900 people an insecure statement of saying, we just need it. We can't do it without you. We get it. We understand. And if the people wanted to volunteer, they would have already. That's the point. So you need to create a culture of growth in your current team to recruit the people they see. People should be uncomfortable in your church who don't serve. If they're a saved Christian and they're just attending your church to spectate and then to make opinions about it online, they should feel uncomfortable. Because from the streets to the seats, from the parking lot to maybe your low team, to your connect corner, to your merch, to your coffee, whatever it is, they should be asked, hey, are you on a team? Hey, Can I get your number? Can we get coffee? And not out of a manipulative, strategizing way, but man, we don't need you. You need this. That's the reality. They need it. They need to serve in the house of God because we know what happens when people serve in the house of God. Their leadership explodes, their life explodes, their vision explodes, and God explodes in their life because that is how He does it. He serves or He expands through the local church in micro and individual life, but also in the macro city. So stop announcing it on Sunday mornings. If I hear another person announce it on a Sunday morning, oh my gosh, from a pulpit, we need more people. And then 2,000 people are scared and insecure because they go, I don't want to. I don't care. I don't have a reason to do so. Give them a reason to do so. Help them see why it's important for them to serve in the house of God. And then lastly, why you should have volunteers. And I kind of hinted at it again in this last statement, but being on a team is a core discipleship staple. If it's not a discipleship journey, and a discipleship, it just means development. If you aren't in the Christian space, it just means development. How am I developing you as a Christian, as a person, as a husband, as a son, whatever it is, as a high schooler? Being on a team is a core discipleship journey. And you as the leader, that is your importance. If you're not getting coffee with your team or taking them out to dinner or bringing them in your home and staying up super late and messing around and having fun, I don't know what to tell you, man. That's the point. The point is we are developing and building people to live big lives because we care so much about their future and the thing that God has put inside of them. That is your responsibility to help them unravel. So being on a team is a core discipleship journey. And why you should have volunteers? Do you want to reach your city? Clear as day. Do you want to reach your city? If you want to reach your city and if you want to partner and continue to do the thing God has done, it's going to be through the people He's given you. He's given you people, steward them, love them, make them feel known and needed. And at the end of the day, what will happen is when you create a culture of growth, God will see your stewardship and the people in your church will say, man, they have a great onboarding experience. The people serving actually look like they want to be there and they have a joyful spirit on a Sunday morning. Whole nother side tangent that we're not going to go into. But 90% of your volunteers look like they hate their life on a Sunday morning. Probably a red flag as well. We're not going to go into it. Sorry. But it's a core discipleship journey, and they need it because they need the best. And what the best is happening is in the local church and through a discipleship journey of a one-on-one leader to follower. They're followers of you. And the reality is you are either stewarding them well or they're going to find a different church or avenue because they're looking for, like I said, known and needed. They want to feel known and needed. I'll end with the story. So last year, my wife and I transitioned out of our last church and we were planning on moving. And it took like 8 to 9 months to move. And when we just moved, we went out here for about a month. We didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't move out to be in a church role. My wife is leading outside of the church space. She's an entrepreneur and her parents own businesses. And she's in that space. And I've been in the media space working with startups and being a creative director and also doing this type of stuff, working with you volunteers, kind of from a bigger worldview, not just in one specific local church, but we do attend a local church. And I had a conversation with one incredible leader, and he looked dumbfounded when we talked about the word need, because it's just, he used it so much and he didn't realize it, how much he needed it. See, I just did it. But we talked through it. And he used it in so much more than just his onboarding experience or his teams or his whatever, all the church language. He used it in everything. And the poverty spirit will kill a person. Will kill it. Not literally, but figuratively. Because there's always going to be more ahead. And it all goes back to this hustle, grind mentality not attached to stewardship and discipline. I'll end with this. You need to be the best steward and you need to be the best at discipline you can possibly be to continue to reach your city and to acquire more volunteers in your church space. Thank you guys so much for being on. Seriously, we're going to send you a PDF after this of all the notes. And I'll go over it super quick so you can write them down if you didn't. Why you're outgrowing, a poverty mindset, your volunteers had a poor onboarding experience, your ego is too big to let others in there to be the solution. how to grow, what is your vision, how can others be a part, what does it look like for someone to join a team, are they going to have a leader who disciples them, you can't lead everyone, and why you should have volunteers, because that is the best possible way to build a disciple is through one-on-one connection and helping them unlock the potential inside of them that God has called them to be. Thank you so much. I love you guys. I believe in you so much. Your church is incredible. What you're doing is so much bigger than you can even think about, what you can imagine in your mind. Again, Ephesians 3:20, if you can ask it, you can think it, or you can imagine it, it's not God, and he's going to exceed that. God bless you. I appreciate you so much. Talk soon.